Well, good morning, dear audience from all over Europe. My name is John Blankendaal from Brainport Industries and our Smart Connected Supply Network. I welcome you to our session made possible by Politecnico di Milano. And we will present the AI REGIO project with our initiative on digital factories, which we see as a precursor network of AI TEFs in manufacturing. We have a very nice setup of a lineup of presenters. So we will start with the vision of the European Commission by Marius Badiga. We have the presenters. Oh, sorry. We have the BDVA view by Thomas Haan. We will have two examples of our didactic factories presented by Gustavo de Marco and Alessa. And we will end at 9:45 with a panel debate and the conclusions made by Sergio Cusmaroli. So we have 1 hour, and so we have a strict time schedule. So I only have a couple of minutes to present to you the AI REGIO project and what we are doing with the didactic factories and how we look at them. So we started in 2020 with the AI REGIO project, with 36 partners from 11 European countries, of course with an online meeting, with more than 60 participants in October. And the partners, all the partners from the Vanguard region, from the Four Motors region, from the digital innovation hubs, have one mission: is to help European SMEs on the path towards artificial intelligence-driven digitalization, whilst further integrating the pan-European network of regional digital innovation hubs. So really helping SME companies. But first of all, we had to start with the discussion, okay, do we have a common understanding of what didactic factories are? So what is our state of play when we are talking about didactic factories? So we had in the time workshops, we invited the first didactic factories which were already known to us. We invited them to have a discussion about, okay, what do you see as a necessary activity, a necessary proposition of a didactic factory? So we needed a common understanding. This why, how, and what is necessary for a didactic factory. So we came up with some conclusions. A didactic factory is an open testing and experimentation facility which extends the services of a learning factory towards the materialization of the EDIs, the European Digital Innovation Hub Test Before Invest pillar, by providing access to the technical expertise and experimentation, as well as the possibility to test before invest. A didactic factory, like an European Digital Innovation Hub, helps companies innovating their business or production. So that was the shared vision on a didactic factory. So we defined the following dimensions: the why. So the didactic factory aims at developing practitioners' competences and introducing innovation, and also at providing training to students, but also, I think, for a lifelong learning for the employees. Didactic factories also function as a bridge between the manufacturing SMEs and universities or technology providers. Well, the didactic factory is based on a physical location. It might provide virtual tools or premises and equipment. But a didactic factory consists of elements of learning and teaching, as well as a reality-conform production environment. And I think a good example is also the Brainport Industries campus, where we have innovation, education, and manufacturing under one roof. So a didactic factory offers training and education by learning by doing, and classroom methods, and with its hardware and software assets can perform testing and experimentation. So those are the dimensions of the didactic factory. So we have a didactic factory ecosystem, and I think within that ecosystem, we set up a network, and you will hear some examples later during this session by two didactic factories. But now I think we can move on to the EC point of view by Marius Badiga. So if Marius can put on his camera, I will close it and I will share the screen for you, Marius, and please give me a sign when I have to.
Thank you very much, John. Could you start displaying the slides? So before we see the slides, good morning. My name is Marcin Pałdyga. I'm Program Officer in the Robotics and AI unit of the European Commission, DG Connect, Communication Networks, Content Technologies. And I would like to present briefly today to you the idea of testing and experimentation facilities in manufacturing under the Digital Europe program. Do we see the? I do not see the slides. John, could you please display the slides? Yes, great. Before I go into some more practical detail about the upcoming call for testing and experimentation facilities in manufacturing under Digital Europe program, I would like to give you a short background about the policy behind the setup of and support for testing and experimentation facilities in manufacturing under Digital Europe program. So in fact, in April, the European Commission proposed the first ever legal framework on artificial intelligence, the so-called Artificial Intelligence Act. The proposal is a part of a wider package, which also includes a new coordinated plan on AI cooperation with member states. The package is the Commission's approach to artificial intelligence to create trust and excellence in AI. One of the main ideas is to make Europe world-class in development of secure, trustworthy and human-centered artificial intelligence. And the TEFs are one of the tools which are proposed within the broad scope of Digital Europe program. So in Digital Europe program, the Commission will invest approximately 2.1 billion euros in artificial intelligence in the period up to 2027. And the program will reinforce critical digital capacities by focusing on the key areas of artificial intelligence and its deployment in key sectors, including in particular manufacturing. Manufacturing is definitely seen as one of key sectors of European economy. That's why the focus of Digital Europe program and the TEFs come in. The testing and experimentation facilities are one of several tools in depth to support the vision for the deployment of trustworthy AI in Europe. As for the testing and experimentation facilities, there will be a number of common specialized facilities to be shared at European level. The idea is that they will allow to experiment and test state-of-the-art technology in real-world environments to enable faster rollouts for respective products. In this way, the idea is to improve the translation of European research excellence. We know that we have excellent research in Europe, but sometimes the translation into the economy, into products lags behind. And the idea is that the testing and experimentation facilities should improve the way of transfer of knowledge into the market faster. The idea is also to support, in particular, European small and medium enterprises, smaller companies that have fewer resources to set up large testing and experimentation infrastructure. And we want to make sure to enable widespread geographical access across the EU. As for the details, on the slide, you see a couple of key figures. So the budget proposed for the second call starting next year is 30 million of EU support plus 50% expected of co-funding from the member states. The indicative duration is of 60 months. We believe that that's the kind of appropriate period to run the operations. There are some restrictions limiting the possibility to access the consortia to unities controlled from beyond the EU, and there are many more details, but I would like to point you out to the Commission web pages presenting the call in detail. Three key areas in the upcoming call. They are not exclusive, so there might be also other proposals, but these are the key areas. So the first one is factory level optimization, the second one collaborative robotics, and the third one is cross-cutting circular economy. And as for the next slide about the outcomes, a couple of expected outcomes. First of all, we expect the validation in real conditions, in real life manufacturing settings before the products go to the market. We expect that this is a common resource available all across Europe, both through physical and virtual access. We expect the boost of AI technologies in manufacturing, and one important part is also the robotics, the embodied AI, the robotics development with more autonomy in the manufacturing context. So with this, I would like to conclude my talk, and I would like to encourage you to check the links that I showed on the slides to see more details about the testing experimentation facilities and the upcoming call. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marius, for your presentation. I would like to give the floor to Mr. Kerber, and he will share his own screen.
So thanks, John, for introducing. I'm checking out if you actually see my screen now. Please. You see the full screen mode. Can somebody confirm?
Yes, we see your screen.
Okay,
everything fine.
All right. Okay. So yes, Chris de Kerber for AFRA, the European Factories of the Future Research Association. So this is from a context of the Factories of Future Partnership, looking at FP7 Horizon 2020 and looking forward into the Made in Europe partnership, which is about manufacturing, and AI and data plays a very important role in this partnership. And also in the past, many projects have been and are working on the topic. AI REGIO is one of the pivotal projects in terms of providing the link to this research and innovation projects and actions with respect to the digital innovation hubs. With respect to the testing and experimentation facilities, I would like to position this in what we refer to as pathways. We are involved and driving a coordination and support action, and Sergio Guzmroli is also in this call, is very involved in the context of pathways, which brings you to a less advanced situation, to a more advanced situation with respect to digital manufacturing. And I believe that the testing and experimentation facilities play a very big role in really leading the companies to actually the current situation and the very advanced situation, which are actually being demonstrated in this big pool of research projects and innovation actions, etc., that really focus on implementation. Such a pathway has a lot of context in terms of critical technologies that are being used, from using, for instance, the software and data silos reaching a state of connectivity across the different processes from factory floor up to manufacturing operation management, ERP systems, value network operation, and making use of the connectivity to actually valorize the data. And AI is an essential building block as soon as you have the data, and that's already a critical point. So the point is also to demonstrate how to achieve the process along the pathway to obtain the data. So connectivity, interoperability is a key point, and this is also very much something that needs to be demonstrated, and you need to inspire people with. And then you can actually think about using AI in its proper sense. And there's many ways to use AI for improving the operation of a factory, operation of a value network. And that's where we're at the core with, I believe, the context of didactic factories, to really teach many people that are involved in this whole process how to put the pieces of the puzzle together to achieve the effective operation of AI in the factories. So this needs an organizational perspective. So implementing AI is not just about knowing about AI. You have to know about a lot of things in order to make it possible. I believe that's one of the messages that I want to bring across. Now, definitely here to confirm that also looking towards Made in Europe, the program on manufacturing, the partnership on manufacturing, the role of bringing people, both from the operator's perspective, as from the management perspective, as from the business perspective, into this path is very important. That includes the SME perspective. It includes definitely the skills perspective. In our specific objectives, we of course are focusing on achieving excellence, responsiveness, resilience, the circular aspect of our ecosystem is a very important target. The new business aspects is very important, and the human is key in that. And that involves a lot of technologies in manufacturing. We're talking, of course, the AI part, we're talking the data part, but there's, of course, the hardcore manufacturing aspects as well. And the smart processes, whether it's additive manufacturing, metal cutting, sheet bending, what have you, are embedded with sensors that generate data. And there's a lot of talk about and a lot of work on digital twins. So this is all interconnected. And I believe also that's where the didactic factories, and in this context, the TEFs will play a key role in putting all this together in a very concrete context. So there's different aspects that relate to the AI implementation, embedding it in the smart systems, achieving then with the data by interoperability and connectivity, the point of doing to the point data analytics, not some black box, not understood data analytics, but explainable AI, for instance, and to achieve this with a skilled workforce. I think that's the key points that are key drivers across the program of Made in Europe, have been also quite prominent in Factors of the Future. And I believe this links a lot with what we've heard so far, also in terms of the didactic factories and the role of the just browsing a bit through our program. I've been looking into examples how training was actually present in result and outcome of projects. So I provided the link just to illustrate that also with the collection of information that we do across the program by the Afra Innovation Portal, we can point to particular examples. And I think it will be very interesting also with the examples that come out of the IH network, the I4MS projects, to already look at how the embryo activities of what will become the TEFs can take shape. So I believe in terms of inspiration of what's going already on what's already going on in the ecosystem. There's a lot of examples that we can source from. Talking about examples, just to say that with Afra, I referred already to Connected Factory CSA. I believe there, one of the key action points for the remainder of that CSA is actually looking into the cases. And I believe the cases are very key to the whole storyline of DS. So we will provide more information about how we're doing there, and just pointing you at the 18th of February, we're doing the next big online event to provide you the latest information about that. So very happy to see you there too. Just some promotion for Europe, Made in Europe stakeholders meeting. There was one last week. There will be one again next week to put this all into perspective. And I thank you for your attention.
Well, thank you, Chris, and we will move on to Thomas Hahn.
Yes, and oops, now I share my screen. Oops, this is the wrong one. Here's it. Okay, perfect. You see my screen, I hope. I will give you a short intro about BDVA perspective or BDVA point of view. My name is Thomas Hahn. I'm coming from the manufacturing segment, I have to say, inside Siemens or inside the manufacturing segment. And today I'm speaking a little bit in my role as Big Data President of the Big Data Value Association. I will structure my presentation, let's say, in 5 blocks. I will have a short recap about BDVA. I wanted to show a little bit the journeys, and I will dig in 2 perspectives. AI, data, and robotics area partnership, like mentioned before. And also, I think Chris mentions this, also the importance of data, what we're doing regarding the data space business alliance. Then I will, sorry, I'm coming from Germany. I will also show you how we're handling this in Germany. I think it's quite interesting because we have also a link to the SMEs. And anyway, we are in contact, especially with EFRA about this. And then briefly touching as a last slide about the iSpaces hubs, where we're more in the data AI, industrial AI topic, we are active. Let's give a very brief update. BDVA organization existing, I think, several years. We have a industry-driven, a nice split about Europe, and also a nice split between industry and academia, which you see here on the right side. And we are now going more over from the big data value, as it's a value creation, to get impact, to achieve impact, also to the, we are driving more, going forward more to the big data value topic and industrial AI, where we are inside. How was our journey? Very briefly, you see in the left side, as I mentioned before, the BDVA is an organization some years old with the public-private partnership project, as you know from the previous system. And now we are exactly on the journey. You see it on the top with the partners from Claire, EuroAI, Alice, and Eurorobotics towards this AI, data, and robotics partnership. On the bottom, you see here also each HPC joint undertaking, where we are a private member, because, you know, when we're speaking about AI, industrial AI, you have somehow to calculate, to store the information, to have training, to train the algorithms, and so on. And in the middle, there's a little bit of recap about big data value public-private partnership. At the end, we achieved around 2.4 billion private investment, which we mobilized. This is somehow in factor 6 public to private investment. And don't ask me how many projects are running. When I look to Sergio, the Boost 4.0, it's maybe some of the prominent one. That's where we are coming from. This is our journey. And as said before, on the left side, you see here's a journey. You see here's the AI robotics partnership. You see here's a Euro HPC. I skip this. And you see here's a data space business alliance. And exactly on these 2 topics, I will give a brief dive in how we are doing this, where this is located, and how this fit to the complete overview in Europe with different initiatives like EFRA, like others, also with initiatives maybe running in the member states. But here, and this is a slide which just put it inside, and Chris motivated me this topic because he has speaking about sensors, he is speaking about the AI, he is speaking about a decision. This is based somehow of the knowledge about the machine, about the processes, for the industrial application. And this is what we have, let's say, in mind. We have to catch the perception signals. We have to map AI. You see here a classical control loop added orange part with a machine learning to have a controlled way to influence this and to create some kind of impact, speed, flexibility, and efficiency based on the knowledge which we have. And to be honest, I think this is all the strengths which we have in Europe, that we are in a lot of domains market leader, but we have now really to bring this to the next level. This is only a slide which I added only to close a little bit also what Chris said before. How is this fitted inside the complete picture? You see here maybe a little bit complicated, but nevertheless, hopefully easy picture. You see on the left side, somehow on the y-axis, some kinds of technology tech from the calculation and storage, hardware, from the data infrastructure, data spaces. You have to somehow put data spaces and to create data spaces, the value creation, and the applications. And here, to be honest, two examples. You could put also EFRA and others. My apologies, Chris. Normally you have to place it also into this picture. And here exactly, and this is a yellow, as a blue circle, is where the AI, data, and robotics partnership fit in. You see here the Alice, the Claire, the EuroAI, the Eurobex, and the BDVA. As BDVA, we are active, I think it was mentioned before, regarding the AI Act, where we're participating at the consultation. We have collaborations with member states, also with member states initiatives, to be precise, about trusted AI, trustworthy AI, also labeling for AI application, you know, the risk classes which are described, sits very as BDVA pushing at the moment, as said before, heavily forward. This is one side of the coin. The other side is how we get the data, in a trusted, secure, and trustable way. And this is the second circle. This is exactly about the Data Space Business Alliance, which we are launching, where we are speaking with GaiaX, you know, the infrastructure, portability, interoperability, the trusted, secure aspect with partners like EDSA, FIVE, and BDVA. Very open. These initiatives are open, or these topics are open, or these task forces are open. So it's not a closed shop, because we have to look how we bring together this holistic view for Europe forward. You see here on the right side a quick overview about related initiatives, IPSAI. I think, John, you mentioned that you have to jump in IPSAI discussion later, how this is mapping to the initiative. Good fit, good overview, but nevertheless, we have to look how we drive this together, because collaboration in this case is really key. As said before, short jump to the Industry 4.0, only some lessons learned. We have here exactly some kind of meta model, where we have the initiatives, the platform, where we have on the left side the labs network, where we're providing an environment access to, don't ask me how many centers. And on the right side, you see, because when we're doing something, and because we have also to put our knowledge, our European values also to the standardization, where we put also the standardization topics on this. This is only how this can fit into the complete picture. And as promised, one last slide, and this is only for information. I think, John, you just mentioned before, when I heard it before, that you are also promoted. We have some kind of hubs around Europe, hubs where we for sure focus on different domains, but also in manufacturing domain, where our focus is about data, about industrial AI, and more than happy to discuss how we can collaborate, because anyway, we have to create impact, and creating impact meaning to have this complete holistic view, like shown before, with the different layers, to have this in our mind. Many thanks, and now handing over to the next colleague.
Thank you, Thomas, for your presentation. And we'll move on to the 2 didactic factories, and we will start with Gustavo de Marco.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Just let me share my screen. Yeah. Okay. So, good morning. I'm Gustavo de Marco from InESCTech. I'm here to present our didactic factory, the Industry and Innovation Lab. So the Industry Innovation Lab of InESCTech was created in 2019. It's based in Porto, the north of Portugal. And our main objective is to be a showcase for advanced technologies. So we want to promote and disseminate all the innovative technologies we've been developed through different European or national R&D projects. So present our results and also promote advanced training. So our services are divided in 4 main domains. First one is technology. So again, just demonstration of technologies. We have there already some applications based in IoT, cyber-physical systems, advanced automation and robotics, also industrial vision systems for inspection and quality control, and applications in the domain of artificial intelligence and also simulation. Second one is consulting. So here is about experimentation of the technologies. So have a space for companies that they can experiment and test all the technological solutions available at the laboratory and an idea of the test before invest activities. The third one is about dissemination. So disseminate all the expertise and projects developed through to academia, and also to industrial partners and the community as a whole. And the fourth is about professional training. So to develop tailor-made activities for experienced professionals, senior managers, and also executives of industrial companies. So I have a short institutional video I'd like to share with you.
The manufacturing sector has evolved over the decades, constantly adapting to fulfill the needs of economy and society. In its Industry and Innovation Lab, the II Lab in InESCTech aims to disclose the state-of-the-art in advanced production technologies, thus contributing to the industry's smart, sustainable and technology-based growth. Created in 2019 and headquartered in Porto, Portugal, the II Lab is a space for demonstration of research, experimentation, validation of new concepts and advanced training. The lab supports technology-based innovation in public and private organizations.
Oops. Sorry about that.
Thus enhancing their skills in the development, adoption and implementation of advanced production technologies. II Lab showcases a wide range of technologies such as mobile robotics, industrial vision systems, simulation, business intelligence and decision support systems, cyber-physical systems and Internet of Things. The lab provides a controlled, near-industrial test environment with production simulators, collaborative manipulators, cargo transport robots and IoT platforms. The technological demonstrators installed in the II Lab are transferred to different industrial sectors such as automotive, aeronautics, machinery, metalworking, textile, footwear and logistics. II Lab also provides professional training in digital transformation management and advanced production technologies for senior managers and engineers of manufacturing companies and technology providers. A specialized and experienced multidisciplinary team provides counseling to companies in order to support their digital transition and development of new and customized solutions. The laboratory works in close collaboration with other national and international initiatives, such as National European Digital Innovation Hubs and EIT Manufacturing, in order to spread digitization technologies across all industrial sectors in the region, thus accelerating the development of new industrial technologies and maximizing its impact. Promoting the digital transformation and competitiveness of manufacturing companies.
Okay, so just a small example here where we developed the pilots application for different projects. So this one here is for the Fasten project, where we have there working either the remote dimension, so the IoT platform, where you can have all the information about the process, and also the digital twin here that shows the digital representation of what's happening on the shop floor in real time. So besides the Fasten, we also have developed other projects there, like the scalable co-robot. There's also the Better Factory and the Merry Yard. So just to reinforce that, it's not a research laboratory, it's a laboratory for testing of the pilot solutions for the industrial partners. So as you can see, we have here the demonstration of some state-of-the-art solutions for manufacturing process that can be later presented and tested by other companies who want to develop similar solutions. So thank you very much. This is the Industry and Innovation Lab. Here is our contacts, myself, Gustavo, also Rafael Arraes, Ana Barros, and Cesar Toscano, who are also part of the AI REGIO project. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Gustavo. And now I give the floor to Alisa Zagaria.
Thank you. Can you see the presentation? I hope so.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I will present you two different laboratories instead located in the Lombardy regions. One more oriented towards didactic action, and one more directed towards experimentation. I will start with the SMILE laboratory. This is a laboratory which is born at the Chilometro Rosso, an innovation district and one of the most important European ecosystem of innovation. The SMILE laboratory was born thanks to the collaboration among the different entities. You can see that institutions as well as training partners and technical partners were involved. And the main objective of this laboratory was to support both people and companies with respect to the skill and to the training part. Indeed, the three main pillars of the SMILE laboratories are the orientation of students toward technical and scientific disciplines, as well as the provision of work-related learning experience, and the promotion of continuous training, so reskilling and upskilling activities for companies. So if we focus on the daughter-best methodology, we can see that these are the main area of action of the SMILE laboratory. You can see that we have a lot of different services in the business area and also in the ecosystem area, thanks to the consortium nature of this laboratory. But we have also indeed the action related to skill and technology provision. Here you can see a brief summary of the provision of the infrastructure offered by the SMILE laboratory. We have some robots, some collaborative robot, vision systems, and a demonstrator of an assembly line, and also software. All these infrastructure are connected with the Industry 4.0 paradigm. Here you can see instead the new service we are trying to build, namely the remote services, the digital twin of the assembly line, which is present at the laboratory. And you can see an example of the virtual training session, which was performed by the two students of the University of Bergamo that you can see on the left. And this model was built thanks to the collaboration between the University of Bergamo and the Technical Institute of Bergamo. So it is a virtuous example of the cooperative nature of this laboratory. And the services of the Smile Lab are provided both to students and also to technology provider, but also to technology user. As we said before, you can see that with respect to the technology user and students, we have mainly skills development and business support, while with respect to technology provider, the Smile Laboratory used to support them with facilities, with basic and specialized facilities, and also with discounting and brokerage action. The second laboratory instead is a different initiative. In this case, it contains different prototypes and demonstrators which were built within the joint research activities of Intellimec. And these demonstrators are made available for experimentations by industries or also by students if interested. Here you can see a few examples of the demonstrators available. We have a remote diagnostic system as well as a remote monitoring system, also a control system for an assembly line, the Cosberg assembly line, and also a prognostic algorithms for low voltage circuit breakers. But these are just some of them, the demonstrators. We have also some other infrastructures. And here you can see as a summary the comparison between these two different laboratories and how one laboratory is more oriented towards skills and business, as we said before, and while the other one is more oriented towards the provision of technology and data services. So this is everything from my side. Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, thank you very much, Alyssa. So we saw two beautiful examples of didactic factories in our network and in our projects. And then I will give the floor to Sergio for the conclusion and starting the panel debate.
Yes, good morning. And this is Sergio Gusmeroli, and from Politecnico di Milano. I'm the coordinator of the AI REGIO. One thing, you know that already from John, that we are creating this initial embryonic network of didactic factories. At the moment, we have 11 full members, but we have other 10 candidacies. Please, if you wish to join our network, you could send a message to me or to John Blankendahl. In the candidacy, we will ask you to compile a questionnaire, and then if you are accepted, we will provide you with our methodology. As you have seen from the presentation of Alyssa, this is the methodology that we are using to classify the services of a didactic factories or of a precursor AI TEF for manufacturing. And you have seen, for instance, from Gustavo and from Alyssa, several examples of the remotization services, which are characteristic of the didactic factories or AI TEF. Now it is time for questions. The first question is for the first three speakers, the institutional speakers, Marius, Chris, and Thomas. And the main point is which are, in your opinion, the opportunities of the call AI TEF for manufacturing, for our manufacturing industry, and for also the BDVA and AI data and robotics partnership. Second is which specific aspect you see to be underlined in the manufacturing sector, and so to what extent AI TEF for manufacturing differ from other AI TEF initiatives, and this is mostly from Marius. That is, if the Commission expects the proposals in AI TEF for manufacturing to be very, very specific or also uniform to the other domains. And the third question is about the digital innovation hubs. and digital innovation hubs for manufacturing, for industry, and how do you see the relationship between this AI TEF and AI DIH for manufacturing?
Sergio, should I start?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe two thoughts to the first part of your questions regarding what you have just asked us. You know, when you're speaking about manufacturing, we are all aware that the manufacturing has a significant part depending on the country. So every country or member state is slightly different. Also what they are providing as technology or as product or as solutions, or which companies are located inside. But nevertheless, typically the manufacturing has a double-digit percentage of the GDP from the different states. So, and I can know only the numbers from Germany. Apologies, is in Germany around 24% of the GDP. And which is important is that from this 24%, not the Siemens ABB are the major part. No, 80% is covered by small and medium-sized enterprises. So that's the meaning why we have really to look at this very carefully. That was also the reason why we at Labs, Platform Industry 4.0, setting up the labs, Sergio, as you know, to get really the link, and to link this also to the standardization bodies to influence and the scaling up and, let's say, in a nutshell, the business opportunity. This is one remark. The second remark is, I think it would be really quite useful to provide. I have shown the network regarding iSpaces from BDA. We all know there's a digital innovation hubs. We have also from an IDSA, 5 also from the GAIA-X Association hubs. I know these are different types of hubs. You presented here the hubs which you have focused on a domain, manufacturing, which is fine. But I think one of our first tasks, which we have really to take with us, that we're providing some kind of overview, what is available to support the SMEs, where they get which help, where they get which training, where they have maybe an experimentation facility, and. I think that would be really key, and to be honest, is a low-hanging fruit, because we can really look what is available and build what we are doing. Also, meaning in a nutshell, collaborating in a very open way and providing information, let's say, to our customers. In this case, are especially small and medium-sized enterprises.
Thank you, Thomas. Very, very good insight. And so an invitation to collaboration, I think, is the main message that we should convey here. And maybe a more focused perspective from the manufacturing side.
And you're pointing at me, right, Sergio?
Yes.
Okay. So, well, I think with respect to the opportunity, one way to look at it is perhaps there's this big pool of research for innovation projects, innovation actions that already go very much to the application level, generating demonstrators, etc. I think one of the opportunities in the didactic factories that work and associated to that, the TEFs, is to have like a more permanent base, touching base of where the examples, the demonstrators are in a more long-term operation, perhaps. I believe many demonstrators and projects still have a kind of temporary character. So I believe the positioning of the activity of the TEFs is to have like a more long-term operation of where companies can find the inspiration. So that's how I understand it. I think with respect to the application in manufacturing and what is specific about manufacturing, well, what we hear a lot from our ecosystem and our experts is the availability of data, the variance of data. If you want to target the use of AI for the zero defect, for excellence, for maintenance purposes, certainly the monitoring of systems is very important. Still, finding out when something goes wrong in a machine provides you, well, that's based on data, but the availability quality of data is key there. So I think that makes manufacturing even more specific, maybe compared to other sectors. See already, Thomas.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe to add on this, sorry, Chris, you just triggered one thought. I was some weeks ago at the EMO in Milano, one of the biggest machine tool builder conferences, and I was also happy to participate on some of the panels. And you're right, Chris, the data, you know, there are some numbers, maybe only 20% of the available data are used. I don't count up to 20%, but less. Let's phrase it and say, why? You were speaking about, you have to be, because data, especially in the manufacturing domain, also contains also IPs. You have to have a secure, a trusted exchange platform to improve the existing processes and to look what our future business opportunities are. And I think that's what are driving us in several activities to touch this. Only to add.
Thanks, Thomas.
Okay, thank you. Marius, do you have a comment about the expectation from the European Commission from the AI TEF for manufacturing topic, also with respect maybe to the European Digital Innovation Hub call?
Yes, so as for the expectations, in fact, we had quite a number of consultations with the stakeholder across the manufacturing sectors, and the current content of the work program reflects those consultations, which clearly showed that the manufacturing TEFs have to concentrate on what is really needed in the manufacturing sector for industrial AI to be taken up, and what has to it has to take into account the domain specific requirements. So the expectation is that the TEFs in manufacturing have to support testing and experimentation of main AI-related services, which cover, among others, machine learning, robotics, planning, scheduling, optimization, computer vision, NLP, automated reasoning, complex system in the manufacturing context. The specific aspects are reflected in the key areas, which again came up from the consultation. So there was clearly the most support for use cases in factory level optimization, so flexible production in high variety environments, interaction with and decision for humans and other machines, rearranging of manufacturing processes, other key areas which are very specific, which have to be taken into account when preparing for the call is collaborative robotics and also the cross-cutting circular economy aspect. So I would mention these aspects that came out from our consultations with the stakeholders as the main elements. And maybe for the second point, I think, Sergio, you mentioned also the question about the digital innovation hubs and the links. So in fact, the difference between the TEFs and the hubs is the following. We expect the digital innovation hubs to bring together the actors from the local economy that support the digital transformation and connect to other digital innovation hubs. The hubs should also act as a kind of nearest point of entry for all EU, for example, funded AI activities. They should be a point of entry for the TEFs, in fact. So they should be, the digital innovation hubs should be clearly linked to the TEFs. They are much more numerous. The main purpose for the digital innovation hubs is, of course, test before invest, which means that they have to help users of digital technology to assess assess if in their environment whether they can benefit from the technology before buying it. And the TEFs on the other side are a central shared resource. So they are supposed to be a common toolbox offered to all digital innovation hubs and any user of AI solutions in general. And then there will be a few. So the TEFs should help technology providers to develop new solutions and bring them closer to market. And once validated, the results should be distributed via the digital innovation hubs. So there's clear linkage between those two elements supported under the Digital Europe program.
Okay, thank you so much, Marius. Very clear. Now, question for the two didactic factories from AI REGIO, and which experience can you take from belonging to this network, especially which are the benefits from the Dr. Best service portfolio analysis that you did, and how and for which reason do you suggest other didactic factories or precursor AI TEF to join our network?
Well, maybe I can start. Well, too many questions. Well, I think the main advantage of the network is to both ways. One, to have a broader community, more stakeholders to disseminate and to promote the application of new technologies and artificial intelligence applications such as those we are developing for AI REGIO. So I think this is the main advantage. And yeah, well, the methodology, the Dr. Best methodology, was very interesting and also important for us to, because we did have many services, but using this tool, we were able to organize the services that we had and also to foresee how could we complement or develop new services based on what we already had, and which were the possibilities to extend these activities within our Industry and Innovation Lab. I'm not sure if I went through all the questions.
No, perfect. Alisa?
Yes, I mainly agree with Gustavo. The idea to make a new connection is the main value of this network, and the service portfolio is fundamental in this. I mean, when you met a new entity, to have a clear idea of their value proposition is the basis from which you can start to cooperate, to see what you can offer and what they can offer to you. So I think that this is a very useful methodology.
Okay, thank you. So I believe that we are really aiming at building a network, which means not to have individual silos of knowledge, which are in the didactic factories or TEF, but really to build a network. And the network is based on sharing the services. And the Dr. Best is an extension, if you want, of the 4 pillars of services of the European Digital Innovation Hub. And it is mostly focusing on data and remotization, because you see BEST are the 4 pillars of the AD. Business, ecosystem, skills and technologies correspond to support to find investment, ecosystem building, skills development, and test before invest of the AD. But we added the data and we added the remotization services to characterize this network and to stimulate the collaboration and the joint experimentations, which means cross-TEF collaboration and cross-TEF experimentations. Now I give the floor back to John, thanking all the speakers. And John, if you wish to say something in conclusion of the session, thank you.
Well, thank you, Sergio. Yes, I agree with all the speakers that the EDIs and the TEFs are really the one-stop shops for the SME companies across Europe to improve the competitive and innovative strengths because I think that although we have many technical developments, still the productivity should be improved. So I think that cooperation is necessary for that. So I will wish to thank all the speakers for the contribution. I think everyone receives a compliment from me because you stick to your time. This is really wonderful. And I hope to see you in the coming weeks or months. I hope face to face, but otherwise online. And I wish you all the best and also a happy Christmas and New Year's Eve already. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.